Hey bud, go ahead and grab a seat, because where we left off, Flynn had a blow up at the river. And holy crap, I knew... Oh man. Oh. Okay, this is getting good. So... I mean, the game is very clearly setting out paths that I could follow. And I kind of was originally going to go for Flynn first, but now I kind of want to go for Carl first. And we'll see where the hecking heck this goes. So we have a hard save right there, and that's going to be, you know, our save to come back to. So, let's sit with Carl. I'm tired. I feel awful. I just don't have it in me to choose everyone down, or chase everyone down right now. Lynn's back off to Echo, and it looks like Leo went after TJ, but I can't imagine the Lynx wants all of us crowding around him right now. I sigh, rubbing my face before I sit down in the lawn chair next to Carl. God, he's got such sad eyes. Man, I'm a little judgmental of people who are addicted to pot and then refuse to acknowledge that they're addicted to pot or try and do things to better themselves. But you know, that's just life is hard, and sometimes you have to do anything to make life easier for yourself. And if that's choosing an addiction, then that's not going to kill you in the end or literally make you waste away into nothing, then I mean, there's worse addictions to have. So, I just I really didn't like I really don't like the idea of Carl. But I think I might actually like Carl. Especially since I noticed his beanie is... Oh, his beanie was designed for people with ears and not horns. So he has to wear the beanie with his horns going through the ear holes. And the beanie goes over his ears. Oh, buddy. He looks over at me, slowly lowering what's definitely a joint from his mouth. What? I don't mind. I make a go-on gesture with my paw. Carl shakes his head, though, pushing the disheveled tube back into his front pocket. Nah, I always feel like a dick when the other guys isn't into it. Do you want me to leave? He shakes his head with a quick flick of his horns. No, man. I just do it when there's nothing else to do. Ah. There's a moment of silence, and I feel a little pressure to break it since I'm the one who interrupted his bake session. I actually tried it a few years ago. Carl looks surprised. Oh, really? How was it? I shrug. Pretty bad. Was in a muffin, I think. Carl makes a face at that. Edibles. Yeah, well, I ended up eating one. Didn't feel anything for a while. Next thing I know, I'm face down on the floor and everyone's freaking out. Shit, that sucks. It was kind of funny, but I don't think I'll ever try it again. Carl pulls the joint out of his pocket and holds it up. That's why you should use one of these. It's easier than on the brain. Yeah, well, I guess I just don't like the idea of putting smoke in my lungs. Carl puts the joint back in his pocket. I get that. Again, there's a few seconds of silence and I try to think of something to say, but Carl beats me to it. Crazy shit, huh? I assume he's talking about what just happened. Yeah? Crazy. But you know how he is. He's regretting everything by now. Well, I guess I'd rather he just wouldn't say it in the first place. What he said to TJ, man, he picks on him a lot, but that was crossing the line. Carl scratches behind one of his horns, then rubs his nose. Well, yeah, I guess. I never understood that either. Making fun of TJ is like making fun of a cloud. But Flynn doesn't mean it, usually. He likes TJ. I've noticed that during the trip. Carl's been pretty defensive of Flynn, even though he's the butt of most of the lizard's jokes. I'd see Flynn trip Carl up and put him in several headlocks since I got here. You'd think getting older would change that, but I swear they roughhouse even more than they did before. So, you and him still seem pretty close. You guys hang out a lot? Yeah, I bet. Because there isn't much else to do. He's got a friend in Peyton that he hangs out with sometimes, too. So what do you guys do? I know Flynn isn't into video games at all, and Carl probably doesn't care to go clubbing every other night. He shrugs. Sometimes we go fishing. Maybe just drive around Peyton. Mostly I'm hanging out at home, though. Playing video games? Playing video games, watching movies, cybering with the chatbot, the usual. Hey, bro. For those that don't know, cybering is a bit of an outdated term at this point, I'm pretty sure, for, basically phone sex, but through an online interface. I grin. That's sad. I would have cybered with you if I'd known you didn't have anyone. I don't know, man. That thing compiles all the fetishes of the people it's talked to. It's gotten my sexuality all kinds of fucked up. Sir. Sir. I adore and loathe how relatable these characters are in the weirdest ways, man. Oh, yeah? Yeah, seems like no matter what I say to her, she's tied up in some warehouse, blindfolded with a few missing limbs. You underestimate my abilities. Oh, and a gender swap that comes out of nowhere halfway through. Well, while you're not sexing up a robot, you doing anything else? I can't exactly get around myself anymore. So I guess your parents decided against getting you a new car? Yeah. Oh, look at this. He leans over and pulls out his phone. I can't help but notice it's a top model brand, probably around $700. But he's not showing me the phone. Instead, he's pressing the screen a few times and swipes through some pictures. I swear I see an image of Flynn with his pants down, mooning the camera. Carl swipes over it pretty quick, though, and now I'm looking at the image of a brand new sedan. Except the front seat is folded up, and the front seat is neatly folded up around the pole of a stop sign. I recognize the sign. I'd actually seen it right outside the convenience store. Still bent at a ridiculous angle. Guess that town didn't care enough to get it fixed. The pole itself is almost embedded into the middle of the hood. Holy shit! Carl chuckles and pinches to zoom in the screen in. Yeah, dropped my phone, and when I came back up, this pole was right. Oh, you fucking pothead. The pole was right in front of me. Really, Carl? Why were you on your phone? I don't know. When I get to the town, I don't really think anyone's gonna be on the road. I sigh, then notice a big round spot on the right side of the windshield, spiderwebbed and smashed white. Whoa, is that? Yup. Carl knocks on his head for effect, the hollow sound that it emits seeming rather appropriate. rely on that too much, and you really need to start wearing your seatbelt. Oh my god, wait, so he doesn't wear his seatbelt because his horns will just... God damn it, Carl. God damn it, Carl. He's kind of like turning into like a likable version of Carl from Aqua Teen Hunger Force. He shrugs and puts the phone back in his pocket before leaning back in the armchair and closing his eyes. What's the point? To not die? Happens to everyone sooner or later. Why not get out early if you can? Fuck. God, now I know how it feels. For anybody who knows me, they'd probably tell you I act a lot like that. I'm trying to be better and less self-flagellating with my words, especially when it comes to jokes like that. But I've been known to just have a good time, be laughing, smiling, and then right the fuck out of nowhere I say something that's actually kind of fucked up and really sad. You know, like the fact that I didn't have anybody to play games with a few years back, so I just would pop open Tabletop Simulator and just play board games by myself. You don't realize how crushingly sad that is when you say it to people sometimes. It's also like this conversation I had with my mom a long time ago. She asked me what I wanted out of life, and the only thing I could think of to answer was for it to end. That was the first time pretty sure that was the first time I made my mother cry. Okay, before I start to spiral. I have no idea what to say to that, so I don't. But he breaks the silence again soon enough. So, how's PU? You see Chelsea at all? Sometimes I forget Carl went to Pueblo with me. It was only one semester, but we had a lot of fun. It's alright, I haven't seen Chelsea at all though. It's a big school. Anyway. What's that project thing you're doing? Just a news packet about Echo, really. Kinda about how it's falling apart. Huh. I've told him this already, but Carl never remembers much. Might center it around the whole body and the mind thing that happened way back. Carl opens his eyes and look at me. So, do you need, like, history stuff? Like, old books and records and stuff? Yeah, if it relates. Carl sits up straighter and grins. Well, why didn't you say so? We've got a ton of stuff in the crawl space from way back when. Yeah? What kind of stuff? Carl sets a hoof against one of the rocks circling the fire pit and starts rocking in his chair. Well, whatever my family kept over the years. That one guy, you know, the guy out of this place, James. Yeah, sure, he's like my great-great-great-grandfather or something. I think we still have some of the stuff from back in the day. My parents were thinking about setting up an Echo Museum thing, but they never did. This might actually be useful to me. All I had planned was to maybe look over some old newspapers or town records and be done with it. Actually seeing some old stuff up close could be pretty cool. That might be a good idea, actually. Carl grins. Awesome. I always kind of wanted to look through that stuff, but the crawl space is damn creepy. You free tonight? For the first time, Carl actually looks really excited. Oh, wait, never mind. Flynn's taking me to a dentist appointment early in the morning. How about around 11 tomorrow? I smile. Sounds like a plan. Sweet. Ah! Carl gives an excited kick off the rock as the chair's tipping back. The back legs practically snap under his weight. He's sent slamming down on his rear, the chair a crumpled mess under his ass. I laugh, and of course I feel bad, but Carl just gets up with a sheepish smile, looking down at the broken pile. Well, Leo's gonna be pissed. I'm driving down the road alongside the lake. Carl's sitting next to me. He's in the chair that he broke. I keep telling him to wear his seatbelt, but he won't. I turn down a road I don't remember. It goes straight down towards the lake. For some reason, I can't stop. I brace myself for the impact, but I hardly feel anything. We just glide into the lake. I start trying to take off the seatbelt, but it's stuck. I look over at Carl and he smiles before opening his door. Water rushes in and he starts to step out. Soon the water is over my head and it doesn't matter that I'm an otter. Why was there a broken tree there? Tree branch there? Please tell me why there was... TJ, what did you do? TJ, what did you do? TJ, what did you do? You think you could just become a born again and that washes away all your fucking sins, buddy? No, that's not how this works. That's not how any of this works. Turns out it was a good idea to hang out with Carl today. After texting back and forth with Leo, I learned that he's actually planning a birthday party for the Ram. It's a little weird since Carl's birthday isn't for another month, but I guess it's just an excuse to have a party. Leo tells me to keep Carl distracted for the day while they go shopping for decorations and guess, oh, buddy. He also tells me he'll get my gift for Carl, which is fine with me. TJ's pretty bummed though, considering it throws off his hiking plans, but Jenna promises him that they'll at least hike half the trail. I want to talk to him, but he's acting pretty cold towards me, probably because I'm bailing on my promise to go with him. I have been to this house before. Not literally, but you know what I mean. I drive to Carl's house because it's pretty far separated from the rest of Echo, up against the foothills of Casa Demonio. House of the Demons? Casa Demonio. No, it's not Monio. It doesn't have the tilde, so it's Demonio. So the House of the Demons, the House of the Demon Mountain Range? Man, we're running out of... Okay, sir, I'm gonna have to start turning on some lights with all this foreshadowing. It'd probably take me 15 minutes to get up there, and there's no way in hell I'm doing that in the heat. Uphill when I've got a car. The main reason it's separated like this is because Carl's house is a mansion. Carl's family is loaded, a legacy that's followed them ever since Carl's great whatever struck it rich over 100 years ago. James Hendricks eventually went on to start up an ice cream business, which, at this point, has spread out over most of the western half of the country. Carl's mom is the CEO, I think. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I should probably get some shots of the mansion, considering its role in the town's history. Most of the old mansion has been demolished at this point, but I think parts of it are still from the original structure. Probably best to ask first, though. I walk up to the front door, ring the doorbell, listening to the fancy chime inside. I wait for about a minute, starting to wonder if Carl is asleep or just high off his ass, when I hear some voices from behind the house. And I recognize the crackly timbre of Carl's voice, along with the high tenor of Flynn's. I head around the house, stepping carefully through the desert landscape and walking into the backyard. 'Cause you want to make out with him? No, because you like to make things weird. I just want it to be relaxed. That's when Carl notices me as I round the corner, clutching my camera bag to my side. He's leaning over a bush with a giant set of clippers while Flynn lounges up against the wall, watching him. Carl? Doing a chore? Excuse me? Whoa, Chase. Carl's ears perk up and he grins. Oh, the little... Don't look at me like that, Flynn. You're next, I promise. Oh, buddy. Buddy, you're next. No. Oh. Sorry, Flynn. Carl rolls his big head to the lizard. Was supposed to be watching for you. Sorry, Flynn was supposed to be watching for you. Flynn doesn't look at me right away, instead choosing to pull the toothpick he's chewing on out of his muzzle and look at it. He's still embarrassed about yesterday. Good. That's alright. Wasn't hard to hear you guys from the front. Yeah, just doing some yard work. Obviously. He rubs behind his head. Promised my parents I'd get this done before they get back. Carl starts snipping the bush again. He's unusually sharp right now. I'm guessing because he hasn't had anything to smoke. Either way, it's jarring to see him so animated. Well, it looks like you're doing a good job. Oh, he's only moving this fast because he wants to hang out with you, Chase. Even though the sentence is technically being said to me, I feel like Flynn's directing it at Carl. Carl furrows his brow. Chase, you can go inside if you want. The back is open. I think that's a good idea, because it's clear now that I've walked in on an argument. You should have seen him a few minutes ago. It was like he had a girlfriend coming over. Carl sighs loudly, and snips start to get a bit more violent. No, I'm just glad to have some company that isn't only you, Flynn. Flynn looks annoyed, and that annoys me. He really didn't have to have the right to be frustrated with anyone after yesterday. Really. Always seemed to be enough for you in the past. Flynn makes a kissy face. I have no idea if this is one of their inside jokes or not. Carl stops snipping for a second, then starts up again more slowly. Well, you know, lizards can be fun, but they don't have all the parts that I like, if you know what I mean. Carl smirks sideways at Flynn. Flynn sneers back, and though I've decided that they're still joking, there's definitely a growing tension between them. What you saying there, Carl? Carl stops snipping and plants the point of the clippers into the ground, leaning in as he turns to face Flynn. What I'm saying is, you've got no ball. Before Carl finishes his sentence, Flynn turns to the right away from him. This also brings his fat tail around to slap into Carl's crotch with a whap that makes me cringe. Oh, don't do that. Carl jumps, then before toppling to the ground. Oh, man, my nuts. Yeah, definitely wish I had those, all dangly and vulnerable and shit. Anyway, I'll leave you two sluts alone. Flynn sticks his toothpick back into his muzzle, and I have to consciously try not to cover my crotch while he walks by me. He hasn't looked at me this whole time. Once Flynn's gone, I sidle up to Carl, who's still curled up on the ground, holding himself while he mutters under his breath. You alright? Fuck, no. There's not really anything I can do, so I rub his shoulder with a toe comfortingly, and he freezes up, as I do, looking at my foot. So, okay, alright. For my male audience, alright. for my male audience, when you are stricken in the family jewels, they will reflexively basically clench up and try and pull up into your body. What you do is, rather than like curling up to grab them, you need to force yourself to stand up a little bit, spread your legs out a little bit, and then lightly jump up and down, like kind of like bounce up and down a bit. What this will do is this kind of creates an effect where it releases that muscle pressure, and it won't like throb nearly as bad for as long. I'm alright though. He gets himself into a sitting position before he gets up awkwardly, standing bow-legged. I forgot how much Flynn likes to hit people in the nuts. I'll get him back. Still hurts him if you hit hard enough. As he stands there, doubled over with his paws on his knees, I look around. Carl's house has actual grass in the back, which is rare in Echo. Most people either xeriscape or just let the sagebrush take over. Another rarity are the 2 tall trees on either side of the yard. That's when I notice how empty one of them looks. Hey, where'd the treehouse go? Carl follows my gaze. Oh yeah, my dad took it down a few years ago. It was falling apart. His dad also built the treehouse. I can remember hanging out up there, playing on our portable game consoles with a fan at full blast. Even then, it was still almost too hot to hang out up there. Man, I'm sad I never got to have that kind of experience of like living next to people my age, getting to go over to their house, have sleepovers and stuff like that. I never got that because I was never around. Like, I never lived close enough to people my age, and then also I was a complete and total shut-in at school, so I never really connected with people. And honestly, the only person that I'm still connected with in high school is a friend I have back in Arkansas, which, now that I live in the Pacific Northwest, that's it's about a 9-hour plane ride away, just about. I walk up to the base of the tree and put my hand against the trunk, grinning. Man, remember all the shit we did up there? Carl shuffles up next to me, still bow-legged, and grins too. Yeah, good times. I think about climbing it, but I notice that the branch we used to use as a foothold has been cut off. Your dad ruined this thing. Carl scrapes at the spot where the branch used to be with a hoof. Yeah, I guess it made the mowing harder, and we didn't use it anymore, so he cut it off. Oh, so that's why there was a branch on the... Okay. I can see Carl's looking for a way up, too. And soon enough, his eyes settle on a branch that's just above his head. Oh no, this is why. I don't know if Carl's already jumping to grab onto the branch with both paws. It doesn't look very sturdy. Dude, that's gotta break. So, I'm fucking fat. I'll bounce. Ah, yes. Carl is a Pandaren player in World of Warcraft. He's bouncy. Oh. I'm about to tell him again that the branch is definitely gonna break when I noticed his shirt riding up all the way over his round belly. It's not like he's a bag of lard, though. It's a controlled type of gut, held tight with the muscle underneath pulling it in as he flexes. He notices me staring right away and kicks out at me playfully. Pervert. First my moobs and now this. I jump back and he tries to follow me with a bigger swing of his legs. And that's when the branch snaps. Loudly. Carl goes down once again, landing squarely on his back. Oh. I cover my face instinctively, but I still hear the hollow thud, followed by the whoosh of breath going out of his lungs. Slowly I lower my paws and find the chubby ram rolling back and forth on the ground, eyes wide as his mouth hangs open. A distant memory comes to mind of a time when we were both 10 and Carl was showing me a trick with his new bike ramp. The handlebars ended up in his gut when he landed, and he spent the following minute rolling around on the ground just like this. Good times. Man, I'll tell you what's not good times. I was riding my bicycle on a bike trail. Uh, it was a concrete bike trail, so I guess a bike path, and it goes under a tunnel. And I went down too fast, and I couldn't handbrake. I forget why I couldn't handbrake. I think I might have panicked, but I remember hitting the wall, and in me trying to avoid like completely smashing into the wall, I had turned the handlebar, and basically what ended up happening is my bike handlebar hit the wall and my chest hit that other bike handlebar, and there was like a perfectly circular uh, thing where it actually broke a little bit of skin, and I bled just a tiny bit. But oof, man, I had a bruise for a few days. Oh shit. I suck in air through my teeth and kneel next to him, again, patting him uselessly. After a few seconds of hesitation, I reach over and grab the front of the waistband of his shorts and pull up on it. Even though he's completely deflated, he looks at me with a bizarre expression and swats my paw, giving a few breathless snorts as he tries to laugh. Hey, it's supposed to help you breathe. I've seen coaches do it at school. I'm realizing that Carl's way too heavy to arch up like that, so I give up and end up just petting his stomach, wishing I could help somehow. Oh, you give him the belly rubs. Oh, belly rubs help everybody. Just stretch out. His breath is already coming back, but he follows my instructions anyway, and we sit there for a while, the silence punctuated by his heavy breathing. I start laughing. Jesus Christ, Carl, can you go one day without hurting yourself? He chuckles too, his belly shaking under my paw. No, now, now you know why I don't go outside. He slumps back for a while, taking in deep breaths before lifting his head again. He looks down at his chest, at my paw, and grins. Seems like you can't keep your paws off me, though. I move my paw, letting him pull down his shirt as he grunts and sits up. How about I just let you suffocate next time? I almost did, laughing while I couldn't breathe. I thought you were trying to grab my dick. I put my paws on my hips. Is it because I'm gay? Might just be it. Carl grabs the branch that had broken off the tree and quirks up the corner of his mouth. Dad's not going to be happy about that. Who cares? It's just a branch. You know my dad. He gets up and tosses the branch over the fence into the desert, then turns back to me. So now that it feels like Lucha fucking Lobo just gave me the... I will have to look that up. Stay tuned. Okay, so from what I can tell, Quebradora con Griot is a luchador move. I'm not looking up exactly how that looks. But want to work on your project now? I'd honestly rather just hang out here with Carl, but the sun's enough to put a damper on that. And as we get inside Carl's house, I'm gonna go ahead and create... I'm gonna create this... No, it doesn't matter, so that's the hard save. Let's remember, this is the hard save, where I'm pretty sure this is the point where the paths really branch hard. So I'm going to create this save number 2 down here. And with that, we're going to go ahead and call this episode. Once again, thank you to everybody who's ever been kind to me. This time I would like to call out Dyson the Husky, Blight the Armadillomon / whatever you may be at this point in time, and Demi the wonderful, wonderful Goo. Thank you all so much for the ways you've had such wonderful impacts in my life, and I'm so glad that I got to meet you and be friends with you all. And with that, I'll see you all in the next one. Bye.